Okay guys, we've got a bunch of products here at First Man. We've got our men's lifestyle supplement, which is everything that a man needs on a daily basis. We've got our natural diuretic supplement, Defined, which allows you to get an angular face, removes all the water, especially good for summer. We've got our Male Advantage book, which is a paperback. You can order this, or you can get this in audiobook format or ebook format. We've got our Better Looking Man course, which I'll bring up pictures on screen now. And we've got my personal diet plan and fitness plan in ebook format. On top of this, guys, we've got a body wash coming out soon, part of the testosterone friendly range. We've got men's boxers and a whole clothing line coming out soon. A whole bunch of products, but for now, let's get back to the video that you actually wanted to watch. Okay guys, welcome back to another video. In this video we're going to be talking about how a lack of discipline in childhood is leading to laziness in adulthood. Now we've seen people like Tate talk about this, talk about how like if women go into the workplace then kids are going to go to school. You know, you can't hit kids anymore, you can't hit kids at school, which I think there should be some level of discipline where it's like, you know, like the old ruler on the wrist. You know, there should be some level of punishment, whereas kids now, I know a lot of teachers, and they're like, they will just call you a cunt, and you're just like, can you leave the class, please? You're not even allowed to fucking shout at them anymore, because they'll be like, oh, he abused me. And I just think this is all part of a bigger master plan to turn all these kids into like, they got a lack of discipline. And I know the other side of the coin, because my dad was very much a disciplinarian. He wasn't an asshole in that sense, but he liked us to try hard. Like we weren't allowed to quit at anything. If I was having a football season where I was like, I'm not enjoying it, he was like, but you have to finish the season. And I remember I used to do 100 meters for like athletics, track and field, if you want to be precise, from America. And he would take me up the fields, tie like a tire around my back, and just be like, right, run up that hill. You know, I'm about to be sick. Well, you've got 3 more left. You have to finish them. And I had that as a kid. When I was playing football, my dad would be like, come on, keep fucking running, and like screaming at me. And other parents would be like, oh, you can't do that. But now in adult life, I don't quit. I don't give up. I just keep going. I've got a different mindset, you know? And I think that is probably my biggest advantage, where I'm self-motivated, where I'm like, well, I have to do that today. There's no excuse for this. And I think that does come from your dad. You know, or your mum, but probably most likely your dad because of the masculine influence. And my mum was very similar too, so there's definitely something there, but I think a masculine influence where you fear the punishment from your dad is massive. And, you know, you see this in sports. You know, well, for example, I mean, you saw it in music. Michael Jackson was like that. His dad disciplined him. You see it with, I mean, Mike Tyson had a very tough upbringing, and then you see that kind of in the ring where he has that discipline. You see it with Tiger Woods. You know, Tiger Woods' dad was such a disciplinarian, used to make him do shit that he shouldn't have had to have done as a child, but look where it put him. I watched a documentary the other day on a boxer, and his dad was terrible to him, but look where it put him. Became world champion. Sometimes it's cruel to be kind, and the point I'm making is we're in a society now where if I have kids, I don't want to hit them either. I don't want to have to hit them. I will be quite strict in the sense of you have to finish that off, you have to do that, but I would explain it in an articulate manner, and I'd make sure that, you know, they didn't fear me, they respected me. I think that's a better way to do it as a father. But the message to you guys, because you might be a little bit older now and it might be too late to kind of have that father figure in your life. Here's how you improve that. If you want discipline in day-to-day life, if you want to get, you know, if you want more focus, discipline, motivation, self-motivation, stuff like that, if you're like, oh, I really struggle to get things done, I've got no energy, whatever, I lack drive, number 1, testosterone will help, okay, it's the easiest way to do it. But number 2, to change your mindset, is stuff like when you go to the gym, okay, and you go, I'm going to do 10 reps here. If you get to 7 and you're like, but it kind of hurts, I'm going to rack it, nobody's going to know, you just fucked up, okay, because when I'm in the gym, if I'm like, oh my God, like I'm doing the 30 rep thing that you guys have seen me do. If I get to like 19 and I'm like, oh my God, I'm already in so much pain. I say to myself, I'm like, but you got to fucking do it. You got to do it. Like nobody's going to know, but you'll know. And then next time you're making a video telling all your subscribers, hey guys, never quit, never. It's like, you're a fucking fraud. You're a cunt. You're telling everybody to do one thing and you're doing another. I've got that inside of me. I'm very lucky, but you guys need to start deploying that in other areas of life. Okay, that's how it's a knock-on effect. It's a vicious cycle. You know, if you're like, oh, I should do this today, but I'm not going to, that's vicious. You need to have these little habits, like waking up in the morning, making your bed every single morning, you know, and then going for a walk and going to the gym. Like little morning routine, that will build the discipline. You can start small, but I got it from, like I said, my dad's influence. I've never had a scenario where I've been like, oh, but I'm just not going to do it today. Like I just end up doing it. I'm just like, fuck it, I have to. I just have to do it. It's not there for everybody. It's not built into here. So like I said, the way that you can get that is by those little wins. It's those tiny little wins. I should do this today, but I'm tired. It's like, no, do it anyway. Just force yourself to do it. Because the more you start doing that, the more you'll start changing your mindset, and then the more it'll overlap into the rest of your life. And the better results you'll see, guys. The better results you'll see, because you won't be one of these little fucking idiots that sits there and is just like, oh, but I can't be bothered. Yeah, but I'm tired. You know, one of those like kids at school that you always think, oh, fuck off. Do you know what I mean? It's cool when you're a kid, and then you get to a certain age where you're just like, he's a fucking idiot. He's never going to do anything in his life. He's a waster. I don't want to be associated with him. I don't want you guys to become that. Now, like I said, I was very lucky. I had a good father, strong influence. And my mum was the same, especially with schoolwork. If we didn't do our schoolwork, we got a beating. Like, we got adapt to the arse and whatever. My dad used to hit us with the belt. People would be like, oh, that's awful. I look back today and I'm like, that was fantastic. It got me to where I am today. Now, it's a different era now. Would I want to do that to my kids? Like I said, I'd find a different way, but they're going to be softer than I am, which is a shame. But hopefully they won't need money, you know, because I'll be in that position where I can do it for them. But for you guys, it might be too late. You know, you can't go up to your parents and be like, can you hit me more? Do you know what I mean? So you're going to have to do things like maybe sign up to a boxing class. And then when you get hit, you're going to have to keep going, keep moving forward. When you're in the gym and you're like on your 9th rep and you're like, but it really hurts, push out the 10th. Stop being a cunt, okay? Those little wins, those little moments, they start to build up mental strength, because that's what a lot of you lack. A lot of you lack that mental strength. I found that in sports because of my upbringing. The guy next to me used to be like, I'm gonna destroy you today, try and out-talk me. And I was like, oh, we'll see in like the 70th, 80th minute. And he'd be having a really good game. Last 20 minutes, I'd be like, are you tired? He'd be like, no, I'm not tired. I was like, yeah, you are. You're fucking tired. And I was tired too. But I was like, watch this. And I just keep going. And then you'd beat them here. And you just stop. And they just like put their hands on their knees. I remember I did a bleep test at school. I was about to die. I was so tired. And this other kid said to me, we were about to do the last one. I think we went to, I can't remember what level of test it was, but it must have been hard because everyone else had dropped out and we were the two fittest and we were still in. And we were on 13.3. And on the next one, we were running. He was like, are you tired? I was like, no, I got loads of energy. I'm going to 15. And he stopped. I was so tired. And I ran back and got one more and stopped. I was so tired, but I wanted to win. It's all a fucking psychological game, because he thought I was going to 15. He was like, well, I can't fucking make it to 15. Little did he know, if he had stayed in there a little bit longer, he would have won. That's the mental game. I would have been tough enough to be like, yeah, let's fucking see if you go to 15, then you can't. If you do, you beat me, fair enough, I'll shake your hand, but I guarantee you don't. Because if I'm this tired and I'm this fit, then you must be superhuman. And he didn't, he dropped out. And I won, okay? And I used to do that with cross country, everything, like whatever it was. Somebody else will always drop out first. They'll always be more tired and whatever. It's the mental strength that will make you successful in all areas of life. Okay, guys? And that's what a lot of you lack. And I've realized at the age I am now, I had that from my dad and my mum, but especially my dad. I got very, very lucky with the discipline that he installed in us. Shouting and screaming, give us a little smack, whatever. And I was scared to disappoint him. I was scared to give up because I'd be like, well, I'll look soft. And my dad installed that in me. Whether that's good or not, I don't know, but it will make you very successful. Dan Pena talks about this a lot. I think Dan Pena said, his brother said, if my dad had beat me as hard as he beat Dan, I would be as successful as Dan today. That's a real thing. That's a real thing. Society wants you to forget that. And it's not necessarily you have to get beat. It's just the discipline that gets installed in you. It's that winner's mindset of I can't quit. I just can't quit. It's not in me. It's not in my makeup. Like if I quit, I'll be disappointed with myself. And that's the worst part of it all. A lot of you guys need to find that. And like I said, it comes from that last rep in the gym and being like, I'm fucking in pain. I'm going to do 3 more. I'm just going to do it to build up that mental strength. You're on a treadmill and you're knackered and you're like, I can do another minute. I can do another minute. Think David Goggins, you know, his mindset. He never had that. He was a self-proclaimed fat kid, real lazy. He built that mindset through practice. So it can be done, guys. And that's what I'm saying to you lot. He'd be great to get on a podcast or something and talk about this. I'd love to do a documentary with him. That would be heaven. Well, I'll sort that out, guys. I'll fund that. No matter how much that costs, I'll fund that because that needs to be done for you lot. But that mental toughness, like I said, through David Goggins, like I was given it from as a young age. I was lucky, but David Goggins built it. So it goes to show that everybody can have it. And he's probably like the fucking most extreme version of that now. Probably even more so than myself. So it can be done. Anybody can teach themselves, but that's where it comes from. Those little moments where you go, I want to give up, I'm tired, but you don't, and you stick it out a little bit longer. Makes all the difference, okay, guys? And that's what I want you guys to have, that mental toughness. If you can have it here, everything else starts to come together because you stop quitting. You don't take 2 days off because you're tired. You don't go, oh yeah, but I want to watch that show tonight and I'm really hungry and, you know, I want to eat that popcorn and at the end of the day, I've been working hard all week. I deserve a little reward. My mind doesn't work like that. My mind does not work like that. I'm like, deserve a reward. What the fuck have you done? I'm like, you're going again tomorrow. Keep this momentum going. Like, let's go again. It's just a mindset thing, guys. It's mental toughness. That's probably the one thing that in this generation, 99% of men lack. It's not that hard to achieve. It's just hard to get out of the routine of being like, I would do it, but I'm tired. I'll start Monday. Do you know how many guys say to me, I'm going to start the gym. I'm going to go to the gym. And they're like, yeah. But, you know, summer and, you know, it's tough. And then winter starts. You know, but it's hard in winter because you've got Christmas coming up, haven't you? And they start making excuses and they go, but, you know, and it's tough. And work's been so busy. It's like, you're a cunt. You are a cunt. That's what you are. You've got to be honest with yourself. Self-accountability. If that was me in that scenario, I'd be like, yeah, I'm being a fucking dickhead. It just, do you know what I mean, guys? Like, it comes from that mental toughness. Like the decision here, the good decision to just go, I have to do it. What's that quote? You know, success is just doing what you don't want to do when you know you should do it. I think I've said that right. I pretty much live by that. Like right now, I'll just give you an example. So it is 7:22. I don't know if you guys can see on there. Probably to some extent. Let me see. I don't know, maybe you could see. Anyway, it's 7:22 on the 15th of September, and it's a Thursday. 7:22. Most people now having a Chinese, ordered some food, you know, meeting the girlfriend. I'm working. I'm going to be editing this now. I was up at 6 a.m. this morning. I was in the gym, and then I had a streaming platform meeting at 9 a.m. So, like, my whole day has been filled. You can imagine there's stuff in between that as well. But so I started that early, all the way till like 7. I will probably work now till 10 o'clock at night, and then, you know, I'll potentially go to bed for about 11 o'clock, and then up again in the morning to do the same thing. Most people are not doing that. Most people are sat down now after quite an average work day where it wasn't actually that difficult, and they are now sat watching fucking Game of Thrones or some shit. And it's like, you don't deserve that. You haven't earned it. You know, you should feel guilty about having not done enough each day. Like, that should be a real thing where you're like, I don't deserve a weekend. I haven't worked hard enough this week. I do that to myself. I'm like, do you deserve Saturday off this week? And I'm honest with myself. I'm like, no, not really. I don't think it's been that tough. I could do another day. Okay, the following week, if I work my nuts off, I'm like, you can have a Saturday. You can go, and you've got to be fair with yourself. Okay, you've got to be really fair, guys. And that comes from here. Comes from that mental strength. Most people lack that. Most people will never have that. If you can just deploy 1% of that, 1% of what I've got, 1% of what Goggins has got, you will be an absolute fucking monster. Because like I said, nobody's got it. It's a game changer, guys.